Hello, this is Casey Gain McCalla, filling in for Abiola Abrams on the Planet Abiola show. Here to talk about her brand new VH-1 big time reality show, Tough Love. What's up, Abiola?
Hey, Casey, that's quite an intro, thank you.
All right, so first question, how did you get linked up with this new reality show?
Well, as you may know, I'm the author of a novel called Dare, and Dare is about my missteps in love and relationships. And I write a lot about love, relationships, dating, and all of the mistakes that I've made because they felt like, you know, I'm attractive, I'm fairly intelligent, fairly successful, and I had this one area of my life not figured out. So they thought that American women would be able to relate to that.
From the producers of He's Just Not That Into You comes a show about the ongoing, never-ending search for Mr. Right. Meet Steve Ward, one of the most successful matchmakers in the country. Nobody knows single women better than he does.
My goal is to show women that although you think you know what men are thinking, you don't have a clue. I'm taking on 8 of my toughest cases. These women are desperate and single and can't figure out why.
This boot camp is about the male perspective, how they see you.
If you don't want to listen to it and you don't want the feedback, the door's right there. Don't let it hit you in the ass.
Who will find their soulmate?
And here he is.
Now, given VH1's kind of previous depictions of black women, you were a little hesitant because of that, or?
A little hesitant. Casey and I did research on the team, and it's an amazing group of people, seriously, that put this together. Drew Barrymore is one of the executive producers, High Noon Productions and master matchmakers, Steve Ward and his mother Joanne, and they are all wonderful people with the best intentions. And so I went out there with the promise that I was like, if Flavor Flav appears anywhere, I'm out of there.
So, what about, like, what do you think of the depictions of black women on reality TV? You're thinking, what, room for change? Do you think are you changing it?
I think that there's absolutely, you know, room for change. The interesting thing though, as you know, as a media person, when we start to talk about media depictions, you know, of us, we're the ones depicting ourselves, you know? So if we talk about, you know, yeah, there has been a negative onslaught of different negative African-American personalities in reality TV. And my motto always is, if you don't like the way you're represented, represent yourself. Well, and so for me, I thought that that's why it was important for me to be there because like everyone else, I'm a consumer and a viewer, and I watch these shows and I say, who is that? I don't know anyone like that. And so I was like, you know, I'm gonna go and represent myself.
So, but I'd say, like, in terms of, like, we do represent ourselves, but it's certain executives who pick, like, okay, like if you had 20 women applying to be on a show and you had one from Harvard and one was a stripper, you know, the people obviously have control over, especially in reality TV, who is being represented among the black. Then there's like stereotypes of black women on reality TV.
Huge stereotypes, but here's the issue with that argument, Casey. I think that we have to look at the fact that as African Americans, we don't live in a vacuum. We have to look at the bigger picture and see that unfortunately that there's a trend in violence in all of television, or there's a trend in these negative depictions of women in all of television. So we have to address that, you know what I mean, as a whole. And for you and I, we're both media creators. We're producers as well as talent. So it's important for us not only to make sure that we're representing ourselves in the proper way, but when we're in decision-making positions, that we choose people then who are more representative.
So we as us, so we need to take control.
Absolutely.
All right, now, in terms of like your talent is, you're a writer, you know, you're very smart, but like I think with reality TV, people are famous for being not intelligent, not creative, but just for being sexual, for being human, for being whatever else. And I think it's great that you're on it because you're adding another element that you're a writer. And I'd like, you know, you had a couple other black women on reality TV who were just famous for sleeping with people, being loose, on the floor, fighting, getting spat on, etc.
Right.
So were you're the only black person in the household?
I am the one sister in the household, yes.
And how did that work out?
Producers, I think, were very conscious of not trying to cast by race. They were trying to cast different kinds of women who American women would relate to.
Okay, and what type of men were they hooking you up with?
Okay. Okay, so you'll have to watch the show. The hosts of the show are matchmakers. So they really do try to work within the types that you specify. One of the issues that came up in the first episode was that, you know, there were issues of body image because one of the guys, they had this panel of men, and as we had to all walk around the pool, and they were like, oh, they thought that I was fat, and I started crying. And so, you know, we had a whole discussion about that, about cultural differences in body type and how I love my hips and I love my, you know, I love being a black woman, I love my shape, and so that wasn't a part of the show. And so I just thought that that was important to express to our viewers.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
I concur.
Yay. Thank you, Casey.
Thank you, Abiola. Black women on reality TV, let's make it better.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now on Planet Abiola.
Do you not know what show you are now, Mr. Mooney?
White girl from the burbs with a little bit of hood. 3 parts bad girl, 5 parts good. Director, author, yeah, that's the best of me. Show host, activist, that completes the recipe.
I never asked you because I know you're from a musical family, you were saying? Did you say that?
My family like music.
Planet Abiola is a show that I transmit. You didn't catch an episode, let me give a transcript. Music, comedy, interviews, news, plus that cat Kwame and all his dope shoes. How could we lose? You could pick, you could choose anyone else, but you gotta dream bigger and love yourself. You gotta dream bigger and love yourself and love yourself and love yourself.